Hi everyone. So welcome to this session on growing your business with online advertising. And in this section, which we are just going to start, we will talk about how you can use online advertising to for your own benefit. Okay, so let's get started. And before we get started, there are a few housekeeping. So my name is Amitabh Verma, and I am the founder of AMP Digital, and we do training in digital marketing, as well as we handle some digital marketing accounts. Before starting my company about a year ago, I was part of Google and spent about 7+ years managing the small and medium businesses at AdWords, at Google AdWords. And before that, I spent some time working with ICICI Bank in the credit card sales team. And before that, I was part of the education industry. So that is a little bit about myself. I'm based in Gurgaon. Um, Now, if you have any questions during the session, please mention them in the comments column on the YouTube channel. If you are watching on the Google Plus, then you need to put your comments on the right-hand side. So those are the things that you need to know. I'll run this presentation for about 30 minutes, and then we will have a Q&A, and I'll pick up questions that you are going to write down. So let me just enable the Q&A panel just to make sure that your questions are visible to me. The session duration overall is going to be 45 minutes with 30 minutes presentation, 10 to 15 minutes of Q&A. So let's get started. So why do I feel that online is the future or digital is the future? This is one chart, this is one graph that actually gives me the conviction that the marketing is going to be digital more and more going into the future. So this is about USA in 2013, and I'm sure things haven't changed all that much. And this chart actually tells you where is it that people are spending their time versus where is it that the marketers are spending their money. Why this is important is that marketers would want to spend their money where the consumers are. If the consumers are inside cinema halls, marketers would want to show their ads in cinema halls. If the consumers are watching YouTube videos, they may want to be present in YouTube. If the consumers are searching, if the consumers are on the road, they may want to use the outdoors medium. So let's look at this. Let's look at the split of time spent versus advertising spend. And this is for US, and I can assure you that markets like India and all are not very different, and we are showing the same trend. So from the left-hand side, let's start with the print, and when we say print, we mean newspapers, magazines. So while people are spending only 5% of the time in newspaper and magazines, you can see that 19% of the advertising spent is happening on print. So it's not very difficult to understand where this industry is going to go in the future. In the US, already you can see a trend wherein the newspaper market is shrinking from an advertising point of view, and advertisers are leaving the newspaper industry, like they're not advertising there anymore, and the trend is to move away from newspaper advertising. I'm not aware of the Indian market, but if people do not read the newspapers, do not read the magazines, physical magazines, of course, the marketers will also move away from there. The next two graphs are about the other mediums like radio and TV. And you can see that while the time spent on radio is a little higher, marginally higher, the money spent is marginally lower. So you can see that radio still have something to catch up. On the other hand, if you look at television, the 38% time spent on TV, while 45% of ad spend on TV. So you can see that TV is a little over-indexed, and you may see some advertisers weaning away from TV and moving to the other channels wherein people are spending more and more time. Let's look at internet. So again, internet, you will see that the time spent is 25%, while the ad spend is only 22%. So there is a little gap, 3% gap, and you would expect that people will shift from non-traditional to internet and digital marketing. But the most surprising part here is on the mobile devices. So nowadays, 20% of the media is consumed on mobile devices. So if you have whatever 100 hours in a week, 20 of those hours are spent looking at a mobile phone, watching videos, surfing the net, communicating, etc. While if you look at the ad spend, only 4% digital market or 4% of the marketing ad spend is actually happening on the mobile devices. So you can see there's a huge gap in this. So you don't need to be an expert or a genius to realize that if you have to pick one area wherein the advertising spends are going to grow, is going to be on the mobile devices. Now, this chart also tells you the relative expensiveness or inexpensiveness of a particular channel. There are so many users on mobile, very few advertisers, the cost exposure than say on print, wherein there's so little users but so much money. There is so much money chased, which means that the cost per impression is going to be higher. It's going to be much higher. Okay, and if you compare TV versus internet, you will see that in TV again, 45% chasing 38%. So the cost will be higher. Then see on the internet, then only 22% is chasing 25% viewers. So this graph really tells me the fact that mobile is going to be the future, internet is going to be the future, and these are the areas that a digital marketer needs to spend time on, apart from various other factors that I'm going to look at. Let's look at what is happening in India. And this is another graph that tells us the unique users that India has and the penetration. What is the percentage of our internet enabled? I'm sure we would all be aware of this, but in 2014, we have close to 300 million internet users. This is an old graph, a little old, so this was an expectation. We are actually exceeding all this expectation, and as per a recent study, we are close to or above 300 million internet users already. So another thing to be noted is that billion internet users, the last 100 million has. Okay, so if you see that till 2013 when it started, we added about 200 million. Okay, or maybe till 2011, or beginning 2012, we have added just 100 million people. So in the first 10, 12 years of internet, we added 100 million. In the last 1 year, we have million. So you can see that this graph is really steepening. So we are going to add people at a very, very rapid pace. Now, what are the drivers of this adoption, internet adoption? And not very difficult to see. First, of course, is that the government is really providing good infrastructure. So there are plans being made, and especially our current government is very gung-ho on Digital India, which is the right thing to do. So there is going to be a lot of spend which is going to happen on internet, doing transactions, doing governance of the internet, etc. Apart from that, two other factors I feel have contributed to this sharp internet adoption. One is the introduction of affordable devices like computers, tablets, smartphones, using which people can actually access internet. And today, in 4,000-5,000 rupees, you will get very decent smartphones that you can use to access internet and do a lot of useful things. Similarly, the price of a computer has come down, is coming down every year, so much so that a decent laptop you can get in 20,000 rupees. That's one. Second is the widespread adoption of broadband, 3G and 4G services. And I'm sure with the new services coming up, this will even increase. And also, I mean, I see that places wherein we don't have wireless, we don't have the wired broadband, now those places have been taken over by 3G, and I'm sure by 4G as we go forward. So availability of internet and cheaper, affordable devices are the reason why this internet adoption is growing. Now let's look at what is this rapid internet adoption is doing. And one thing it's doing is that everything is getting reimagined. The way we used to conduct a business or conduct our daily lives earlier is very different from the way we are currently conducting or the way we are going to conduct in the future. Here are some examples that I picked up, like for example, buying a ticket. Let's say a railway ticket or an air ticket. Now we don't go to a travel agent. We don't have to line up in front of a window to buy a train ticket. Everything is happening online. And now it's also with so many Uber and Ola cabs, taxi for sure kind of services coming up. Now hailing a cab or calling for a taxi is getting more and more online because it's so much easier. Taking a note, like taking notes in sessions, everything is happening online. People are using their laptops, iPads, mobile devices to take notes. Nobody now has that pad and paper. Communicate, we all know that nowadays nobody writes those long letters or sends cards. Everything is Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, etc. Reading books, like totally online, or a lot of it is happening online. Booking your hotel, etc., etc. I can go on and on and on, but everything is getting internet enabled, and which has a very fancy name of Internet of Things. Now, how is marketing being impacted because of the rapid rise in the internet penetration? And these graphs, which have been released by IMAI, tells you the adoption of various types of advertising and their growth. So you can see that the search ads are growing at 18 to 20%. This is a graph for the last 3 years. Similarly, display ads, about 11%. You will see this is the mobile ads, 88% year on year, and I'm sure you should not be surprised now. Similarly, there are these social media ads, emails, video ads, and they're all growing at a breakneck speed. You look at the video ad, they're growing at 71% year on year. So this graph really tells you that every form of online advertising or digital marketing is really growing. Now, before we move any further, let's understand the digital marketing landscape and let's understand where does online advertising fits into the picture. So these are the areas of digital marketing, like starting from search. Search is, whenever people search, you have these organic or free results, and you can make sure that you are there through the kind of following the rules that a typical SEO does, search engine optimization does. So that's one way to get into the search results, and search is really a window to the internet. So you can follow that and have your website listed, so people can click on your website and come to your website and buy or transact. The other way to utilize search is through paid advertising, like putting paid ads in the search results, and that's the mainstay for Google and one of the biggest revenue earners in the digital marketing industry. The second kind of ads is in display, like these are the ads that show up on any other website apart from search ads, and these the websites on which these show up are like your sports websites, news websites, social media websites, whatever. And the good thing about these display ads is that they are visual in nature. They are typically banners, rich media advertisements, video ads, etc., etc. And we'll discuss these two things in much more detail today because we are talking about the online advertising and basically make the online advertising world. Now, apart from that, there is social media, and we know that social media, how important it is today. Like, if you look at the top couple of websites, most of the countries, Facebook will be there. So people are spending a lot more time on social media. So that is another area that you can actually tap into to get new consumers, etc. Then, of course, is the email marketing. The fact that you can send emails to your email list and get them to come back to your website through the links which are provided in the emails. And finally, content marketing, which is like doing digital PR, making sure that newspapers, etc., write about you, they report on events which is happening. That is one thing. Second thing is also blogging, like putting in interesting articles, trends, how-tos on your blog, and that's another way to get users to come to your site. This is the entire landscape. Like I said, because we're talking about online advertising today, so we are going to focus on search and display. And which one you pick up, out of this five depends on what strategy you have. So if you are an e-commerce person selling things online, you may pick one or two or all of them. If you are kind of education institute who wants to promote your course among students, again, you can pick up. So your strategy really dictates the channels that you would like to pick up for your digital marketing. Generally, you will see that every good or decent digital marketing strategy will have elements from all of them. And each one of them has a very different role to play. And finally, apart from all this, you would want to measure the impact of all your activities, and which is a basic advantage of digital. So of course, you will also need a web analytics platform. So yeah, so this is a little bit on the digital marketing landscape. Now let's look at what is the Google landscape. What are the things that Google provides? Why Google? Because Google is a leading digital marketing company in the world today. And I would say that about at least 50% of the revenue today on the digital side is going to Google. So it's very important to understand the digital landscape that Google provides. Because if you understand Google, it's easy for you to understand the rest of the networks or channels. So essentially, Google has two sides to it. Again, like in online advertising, first is search, google.com search. And search, Google has its own search engine. Plus, Google has partners for whom Google run their search part on their website. And one of the most famous ones is America Online, AOL.com. If you go to AOL.com, do a search, you will see that the search results as well as the ads that show up have been provided from google.com. So that's the first part of the story. And second is, of course, the Google Display Network, which is one of the largest in the world. And on the Google Display Network, you have Google's own sites like YouTube, Gmail, etc. And then you have the other third-party sites which have opted into Google Display Network so that they can show ads using the display network. Now, one question people ask is, when should they pick up search or google.com or show ads on Google search versus on Google Display Network? Now, it really depends on your marketing objective. So if you're looking for what is called performance advertising, wherein you would want to drive traffic to your website, sell something on the website, or generate some leads, then whenever people are searching, users are searching on search, they have an intent to buy, or they're close to buying. So you should definitely be there when people are looking for your category of services or products. On the other hand, on the display network is more about branding and awareness. Because display network, you can put banner ads, you can put videos, etc. This is largely used for branding, but it's also used for performance because of especially remarketing. And I'm going to talk about remarketing in a short while. But display network, essentially, you can do both performance and branding. But a lot of brands, like, typically people who don't sell online, like your Cokes and Pepsis and the Mercedes-Benz, etc., use display a lot better. Okay. And then the final thing about after this, after you picked up your network, search versus display or both, you also need to understand whether you should go put your ads on desktop only or mobile and tablets. And again, coming back to our first chart, I mean, if you pick up mobile devices, you may get some cheaper traffic. Okay, but generally people pick up all or have a very specific strategy for each one of them. Now, getting deeper into search, why should you pick search ads? Okay. Also, you would know that when you do a search on google.com, there are these free results and then there are these search ads. So a lot of people ask me if they should focus only on the free results or they should only go advertising. And here are certain pros and cons. Of course, the search results are free, while if you want to put your ads, you have to pay money to Google. So, paying money is always difficult, while free is always welcome. Now, on the other hand, to get your company listed, website listed amongst the top 5, top 10 results, it's a long-term game because Google compares all the websites and puts the best website with a lot of good content on the top. So it's kind of a long-term game. So if you're a new player in the market, if you're a startup, you can't expect to be amongst the top 5 or top 10 results within 6 months or a year. So you have to keep doing the things that is required, but results only come in 6 to 12 months time frame. While on the ad side is very quick results. Like you put your money, you create your ads, and you are there. You are the number 1 ad which is showing up on Google. So it's just very fast. Now, although this thing ads are very fast, the search results, if once you are there amongst the top 10 and you're doing continuously good work, then it's very sustainable because you don't need to spend a single dollar for your website to be listed. It's very sustainable. You keep getting some amount of traffic on a daily basis without you incrementally doing new things or spending money. Okay. While on the other hand, the paid ads are fast, while you need to continuously keep investing to show your ads on Google search and get traffic. So I feel that a good strategy should have both. You just can't ignore the free part of it, which is what an SEO does. You have to continue doing SEO, and you have to use advertising intelligently. So use it when you are driving a certain promotion or initial part to drive registration on the site. So there need to be a very sustained purpose of doing advertising. And also these ads, you need to measure the ROI that's coming in. So advertise only if you are getting good returns on your investment, while the free organic should always be there. Yeah, see, the other advantage of search advertising is that it gives you tremendous reach. You can actually reach out to the entire web through these search ads, because everyone goes to search and does a search, especially on Google. So you have tremendous reach. Second is relevance. Like you can actually pick the keywords on which you want your ads to show up. So you make sure that your ads are showing up to the people who are relevant to your business, or to the people who are going to become your customers. So there is huge amount of relevance which is involved. And finally, return on investment. Search advertising is very results driven. So you can see how much of money you are spending versus how much of sale which is happening on your website, or how many leads are getting generated on our website. And internally, you would understand what is the conversion rate for your leads. So you can actually attribute revenue to every single dollar that you are spending on search ads. So you can easily calculate ROI. And because you can calculate the ROI, you can always improve upon it. Because if there are certain campaigns, some ads are not giving you the right results, you would stop it. If there are some ads which are giving you good ROI, positive ROI, you will spend more money behind it. Because you can optimize, you can always make your ads much, much better. Now, the second reason is, the second question people ask me is, why display ads? Search is performance. A lot of people are only focused on performance. So why display? What is the need for display? So actually, using display, you can expand the reach of your ads. So search, you catch people only when they are actively searching for your products. but not everyone is searching all the time. I may need something, but I may not be searching right now. I may think about doing it next week or next month. So display ads can be a lot more proactive, and then they can actually get me interested into your products or service. And of course, the reach is tremendous. 85% plus of internet can be reached using Google's display ads. Focus targeting, now the targeting has improved a lot on display, and we can do a lot of targeting, including the demographics. So you can target only certain segment, certain age groups, gender. You can target people who are interested in something, not interested in something else. You can only target certain kind of websites, certain kind of pages, certain websites, etc., etc. So you can do a lot of very focused targeting, and because you can do a lot of very focused targeting, your ROI also tends to be a lot better here. Finally, the formats, the kind of ads that you can build, create, and put on display can be very rich. It can be starting from interactive ads, wherein you can get people to engage with your ads and spend a couple of seconds. And the more they engage, the more they remember. So the top of the mind recall actually grows with the engagement. Also, you can put the video ads. So display can also be a replacement for your television advertising. Especially given the television TV rates. If you don't want to spend a few lakhs on buying a certain spots, you may get to YouTube and show those ads to YouTube, wherein you can spend something like 1,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees is good enough to get you started. So these are some of the advantages of display advertising. And again, like I said, you should take up display if it makes sense to you. Now here is a rundown on the targeting. Like on display, you can do two types of targeting broadly. One is content targeting, which is targeting the type of websites. Okay, and you can place the ad wherever you want on the entire internet. And here are some ways to place these ads. Like one is keyword contextual targeting, which means that you define certain keywords and you ask Google to place your ads wherever those words have been present on the internet. Okay, that's keyword targeting. And then there are these topic targeting, which is placing your ads on certain type of websites like sports websites, news, entertainment. And finally, there is this thing called placement targeting, which essentially means you select those websites on which you want your ads to show up. So this is the content targeting, which means that you are selecting the content on the page on which your ads are going to show up. The other kind of targeting on display network is audience targeting, which means you are targeting the kind of people who would see your ad. Okay, you're targeting by who they are. And again, here there are essentially three types. One is demographics, which is like gender and age. Second is interest category, which is you can actually target people by the interest that they have: running, mountaineering, politics, movies, entertainment, art, whatever. And Google and some of the other vendors, they assign interest to people based on a browsing behavior in the past. So these are the things that you can do. And finally, remarketing. So you can actually do remarketing, and through remarketing, you can actually show your ads to people who have visited your website. Now, finally, before I end, I would like to tell you that if you want to get online and use online advertising to drive traffic, get more consumers for your products, there are a few things to be aware of. The first thing is that online ads work better if they are informative. Okay, so don't just put some very bland advertising, very generic. Ads do not work. You need to put some information like price, promotions, few features of your product or service that you're selling. Try to make it interesting. Ads needs to be interesting. Only then people will click. So stuff like that. So these are the things these are some of the pointers that can help you. Also, the other thing is that don't try to show your ads to people who are not very relevant to your products. where people feel that, okay, this online advertising is a nuisance, don't become an irritant, etc., etc. So yeah, so these are some of the pointers you need to keep in your mind when you are building your online advertising. Yeah, so with this, I'll end the session, and now I look up if there are any questions. I'll be very happy to take them. But if you want to reach out to me for your questions, you can write to me at amitav@adsforgrowth.com. You can also visit our website, ampdigitalnet.com. We've got certain courses. So we have a course on online advertising, which is coming up this Saturday. And if you're interested in learning and mastering the art of online advertising, it's certified by Google. So we have a program for that. We also have a free SEO program. So this is a video-based 30-minute program that I've created. You can sign up for that program and go through the videos. It'll give you a good understanding of what is search engine optimization. So if you have a website, you can do the SEO yourself. It's that kind of a program. Okay, with that, I'll just look up some of the questions. If there are questions, I'll be very happy then. Okay, so there is, I don't see a question. There's a comment from Nidhi saying that she had some issues watching the video initially, but okay, cool. So I don't think there are any questions. But again, like I would repeat that if you have any questions, write to me at amitav@adsforgrowth.com. Thank you very much.